The Astounding Broccoli Boy by Frank Cottrell Boyce. The streets are quiet. Too quiet? But the astounding green boys are brave. Too brave? It was as though the whole street had been double glazed. Everything was quiet and still. Nothing was moving. There was another yellow tape across the next corner. Tommy Lee walked through it like a runner crossing the finish line. We were in the square with the stone dragon, the square that had been full of Chinese people and hustle and bustle, and stalls full of fruit. Only the stone dragon was still there. There were no people, no sound. Emptiness and silence are actually more frightening than gorillas and hippos, especially if they go on a long way. Across the square was a narrow alley that led up to the road where the girls in tottery shoes had been queuing to get into the bank. There were no girls now. The bank was still there. Its bright neon sign still flashed on and off like a lighthouse beam across an empty sea. No cars. We walked past a massive toy shop. Its windows were full of amazing Christmas stuff. Massive pedal cars shaped like old-fashioned Rolls Royces, a row of dolls with angels' wings and tinsel halos, a doll's house that was all lit up from the inside, guns and fighter planes. Our reflections walked through them like ghosts that couldn't play. Something flickered on the window. There was a helicopter with a searchlight, hovering over the buildings a few streets away. I must have been hearing the engine for ages without noticing it. The searchlight poked and prodded at the rooftops. The helicopter swung closer, balanced on its pyramid of light. It stayed still right over the middle of the road. Into the spotlight, as though it was a dancer about to start a ballet, trotted a hippopotamus. It stood still. Very still. Very big. Very confused. It stepped forward. It backed up. Its head went from side to side. It really did look as if it was dancing. It was probably baffled and blinded by the light. What's that? A hippo. I think it's the one that attacked us the other night while you were asleep. Maybe that's our nemesis. I think it's just a hippo. Actually, it's got a nice face. It looks like it's smiling. It likes us. He was going to go and pet it. I stopped him. I explained that hippos kill more people every year than lions do. They look friendly, but they're bad-tempered and dangerous. They're probably misunderstood, said Tommy Lee. Just because they're big, people probably pick on them and ask them to have fights they don't even want. What's it doing now? The hippo's head touched the floor. Its two front legs collapsed beneath it. I don't know. Is it taking a bow? It rolled over on its side, one leg in the air. A man with a rifle ran into the pool of light. We both realised what had happened. The hippo had been shot. This man had shot it. Now a truck backed into the light, and other men piled off the back of it. They were all in uniform. They've killed it, gasped Tommy Lee. Let's get them. I think they're the police. The truth popped into my brain like an urgent message. When Tommy Lee freed the leopards, the gorillas, the hippos and the antelope, they must have found their way into this part of town. That's why there was no one here. It had been evacuated. The police truck had a little winch on the back. Men were fastening straps around the hippo and hoisting it on board. I don't think it's dead. I think they tranquilized it. Even so, said Tommy Lee. He was itching to kick someone. Suddenly the men stopped what they were doing. Radios crackled. There was shouting. The helicopter swept off over town. Some of the men carried on winching the hippo, but most of them ran off. A police van squealed into the square, and 3 or 4 of the men jumped into it. The man with the rifle jumped in too. What could be more interesting than fighting a hippo? Fighting something bigger and scarier than a hippo? A thought occurred to me. Tommy Lee, you didn't let a grizzly bear out, did you? Or a herd of elephants? I don't remember. I opened a lot of doors. I was upset. We didn't discuss it. We just went straight after the police car. We could see its siren splashing blue light down the street. It didn't go far. There was a whole pile-up of police vans and cars across the road a few blocks away. Beyond that, we could see a crowd of people, all shouting and milling around. These must be the people that the police had evacuated from the Dragon Square and the road where the bank was. We went nearer. I tried to keep us in the shadows. No one was looking at us. A line of policemen was trying to get through a crowd of people. The people scrummed together, shouting and pointing, except for some who were standing further off looking worried, talking, pointing. There was something in the scrum. The police were trying to make the people move back so that they could get at whatever it was. Maybe it was the leopard. Maybe it was the gorilla. We had to intervene, especially as it was all our fault. I was about to explain this to Tommy Lee when he took off. He ran straight at the crowd, roaring and howling with his arms in the air. He came at them so fast people jumped out of his way. I followed him, running in the bubble of his force field, right through the crowd. A policeman tried to stop him, but he was unstoppable. Crash, pow, smash. It was actually pretty exciting wondering what he was going to do when he came face to face with the gorilla. Probably pick it up and give it a piggyback. But there was no gorilla. No leopard. No hippo. There was a scream. Not a scared scream. A furious battle cry type scream. When we shoved our way to the centre of the circle of people, we saw what looked like a girl with a paper bag over her head. Some of the police were holding the crowd back. Someone shouted, "Take the bag off then, you'll see." Then everyone started shouting. Then one of the police pulled the bag off the screaming girl's head. She screamed again. Her face was bright green.